Hey, how you doing, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of God Concept. Ooh, shit. I'm your host, Mr. Pagan. Season 3, Episode 2. Y'all know like I do. I'm gonna leave that burp right there. Yeah, man, what could I say? Another day, right? It's just some things that been on my mind that I wanted to get on here and talk about before they exit my mind. You know, I've been giving back. I've been doing charity work through We Are Eight. It's an app, an amazing app with amazing people on there where I share the things that I go through in life. I share my music, I promote my music, and I like the things that other people share back. And not only that, it's a great community of people where we all can gather in one place and give back to all types of charities around the world to help out. You know what I mean? And it's been a great experience. That being said, I'm going to take a hard left and I'm going to let you know that America is an incubator. I probably said it before umpteen times, but yes, America is an incubator. In fact, what they like to do in America is mix and match different races and ethnicities and colors and creeds and people from all different walks of life. So if you're in America, you're in a big ass ubiquitator. What, I forgot the proper term. I get tongue tied sometimes. Pardon me. But that's basically what it is. They take us, they mix us and match us, and they see what they get. For whatever reason, I believe is all a military cover-up. Philadelphia is a military cover-up, a military installation, a military city, if you will, where, they raise and cultivate different type of people that they need for whatever reason that is or may be. I'm sure there's more reasons than just that. It might be another worldly reason for them doing this as well, not just for military intelligence and capabilities, right? But this is a ambiguous. You know what I'm trying to say. They basically breed people, and enslave people. Unless you have the fortitude, mental fortitude, the physical fortitude, the sheer willpower to not be a slave in this system. All of us are used by the system. It's all done. It's electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie. Remember that song? It's electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie. Yeah, because we all have those electrodes and those electrolytes that we need to replenish those neurons in our body. And they play with these neurons through the electricity that's in us, that's in our environment, that's all around us. We use it all the time. I'm using these neurons and this electricity to power this phone right now so I could make an episode of this podcast. So there you go with your Pico energy. Why you think they're so prevalent in the city. There's a monopoly on everything in the city, and it's a huge conglomerate. And I've been noticing that there's a conspiracy against me, against my bloodline, against my grandmother, my mother, me. I believe that they placed handlers in our lives. One main handler that's been in my grandmother's life for a long time is Alonzo Brown. I believe he handled my grandmother, he handled my uncles, he handled my mother into having me, Yeah. I believe that we have handlers in our lives and everything to meet their quota, to meet their agenda. And to these handlers, your life is merely a mission, a status quo for them in some way, shape, or form. And it's evident that once you find out all of this information, they will do anything to suppress, repress, and to not let your voice get out there or be heard, because this information is something that they don't want out, for whatever reason. With me, they took a Native American and a Cuban and put them together. And I also have Irish in me. So, they culminated something in me that's kind of different. And then they continue that going forward. And they don't want your life to go forward. And they don't want you to be able to leave or get out the city. And actually, they test you in many ways. They'll test your strength in so many ways. They'll test you by trying to aggravate you. They have people try to antagonize you to act out of character in different ways. So this way they could further enslave you. And what I mean is by imprisonment. They'll send people in your life to do all types of petty things. You ever notice that you could be feeling good about something that's going on in your life in one aspect, and then something small or minor will happen? And if you don't have the mental fortitude to understand what's going on, you'll let that one small thing mess up all of this happiness that you just had, all of this pride and joy that you just had. You'll let one bad moment mess that all up. And it's done systematically. It's done because they need this energy. They want to control your smiles and cries. They want to control your happiness and your sadness. They want to control whether you're crazy or sane. That's why it's your mission to stay insane. Insanity, basically. You want to stay insanity. You want to stay focused on the goals that you have set forth for yourself to make it out of whatever condition or state that you're in. Get it? Any state that you're in, whether you're in a state of mind, whether you're in a physical state of being, or whether you're in a certain state that you don't want to be in within your United States of America. And that's the what for and that's the what not, man. I've been playing this game, for a while now. I've been playing this rat race game for a while now. And I can see what it is in front of me. And I can see what it is that I'm trying to achieve, not trying to achieve, that I'm achieving, right? I see what it is that I'm achieving. And I see the pushback, the unwillingness to let go of a human being, of a soul that demands to be free, that demands to be uninhibited by any laws, statutes, or rules that another man or society or state thrust upon me or you or us. And this is the message that they don't want to get out there for whatever reason. I don't know. I know my lineage, right? I know my bloodline, right? I get to know them all three, all in tandem. Because we are multitudes. So I have to look up multitudes and I have to be multitudes at multiple times. It's all about multiplication. The times tables that we all are set on in this axis of life is still toppling and turning at all times. It's up to you, the master, it's up to you to master the teetering and the toppling of the times tables that you're on in this lifetime, on the axis that it holds for you, for the axis that holds you. You can take that anywhere you want to, with thought, with action, with deeds, your positives and your negatives. No one will be charged with the content of your actions but you. So why not be, or why not act and be the best version of you, and let that let that go through, you know. I like to take this podcast to different places and record in different areas, in different, atmospheres at times, because it gives you a different charge of energy to really see if you can expound on the truth that you hold it to be in any atmosphere, in any arena, I'll say. You know what I mean? Because if what you're saying is in fact true, if what you saying holds any type of value, any type of validity, you should be able to speak your words no matter where you go. And anybody hear them can't refute them. And if they do refute them, fuck them, because they're your words, it's your truth. You know what I mean? And your truth might be the key to enlightening other people and other walks of life and different aspects of things that's going on around them at all times. It's prophetical. It's like a prophecy, basically. When you can expound on a topic and know that what you're saying is true and believe those things that you're saying, and you could change the hearts and minds of your environment, of the people in your environment, of the state of your environment. I say that because now I'm walking around and shit. But back to what I was saying earlier, man. It's like, it's like Groundhog's Day at times. I'm sitting up here, I'm waking up every day. I'm trying to get my routine together, as far as how I'm planning out my day. But the day is filled with ups and downs. Different things are going to happen throughout the day. So my routine has to be flexible. My routine has to consist of the things that's going to propel or fuel my goals and aspirations. So whether that's recording my podcast, coming out here looking at this amazing garden and the scenery and hearing the birds chirping and all that, all of this is conducive to what I'm trying to do in my life. All of this is basically things that need to happen. You know what I mean? Because for that growth, for any type of growth to happen, you got to elevate spiritually, mentally, and physically at all times in many different ways. I see the things that happen all the time. I see the things that happens around me at all times. People watching, people listening. And at times that can make you a bit nervous about how you're going to move forward in the things that you're doing and the things that you're trying to complete on a daily basis. Because it's very intimate and private, the feelings and thoughts that you have. You know what I mean? Nobody want to be inhibited. It's all about the free speech. That's what free is. The things that we do that come for free. The only thing that isn't free is the time, the effort that you put into whatever craft you're trying to perfect. The time, the effort, the knowledge. And then once you obtain the knowledge, what are you going to do with that knowledge of whatever craft it is that you're trying to perfect, whatever you're trying to do in your life? It got to go somewhere. Big ass bee. God damn. One of them big ass carpenter bees. Yeah, man, but I'm just spitballing at this point. This whole podcast, this whole episode of the podcast basically was to talk about the first thing I said when I turned this motherfucker on. When I turned this motherfucker on, I automatically said what I wanted to say. And that being said, all the rest is just filler. I'm just trying to get it up to that 30-minute mark. Walking around the block, I'm getting my exercise, doing this podcast, and it is what it is. You just sit here and listen for a moment. You know, on my music video, House of Cards, I gave a moment where the music turned down and the video, you heard the sound from the video. And the video, basically all you heard was like a couple bird chirps and things like that to let you know that I'm really out here in the element, you know, making these videos. I'm a genuine person. I'm a genuine soul. You know what I mean? I really don't have any evilness in me. The only hatred or feelings I have towards any type of animosity towards anything is those trying to hurt my family and hurt me. You know what I mean? Even for my enemies, I still love them. You know what I mean? Even for people who betrayed me in so many different ways, I still got love for them. But the whole thing is, you know, once you've been done a certain way, you'll be a fool to ever go back or be in the presence of people who did you wrong. You know, people who tried to fuck you over so many times. I mean, you fool me once, shame on me, or shame on you, or shame on me. Fool me twice, you know, you can't get fooled again. Still in that quote from well, George Bush took it and ruined it, and I'm ruining it further for George W. Bush, baby Bush Jr. I'm gonna ruin that quote a little bit more for you. But yeah, trying to get my thoughts together on what I want to say next. There they go. The police. Who they're looking for. I hear them closing doors and shit. See? Or maybe they're trying to move somebody's car. See, the cops are coming. They're around the corner or whatever. And I hear them coming. I don't think they for me. I don't know if they for me. But I don't think they for me. I ain't do nothing wrong. That's another thing. You know, for somebody to just be trying to protect himself and his family against whatever's going on in this city, you know, wherever the city is trying to, you know, put my family through all of this. I think it's some type of military thing. Like I said earlier, I do believe they just got it out for certain individuals. Certain individuals they got it out for, and they don't want you to make it out because they got to keep fucking with you and toying with you in a way, you know. And it's funny how they don't want to. They always say that they took somebody under duress, but last time I was arrested, I gave up no resistance at all, and they still put their hands on me, threatened to tase me and all types of shit. Had me sleeping on fucking on the bench with handcuffs on. You know, you're not even supposed to be in a holding cell with handcuffs on. And now something is going on at my child's school where they're using that to trump up different charges against me and things like that. And not only that, I could tell that the school is part of this conglomerate that the city has going on when the city's trying to tie you down and bog you down. So what they did was the lady, last time I had trouble at the school because my daughter was being bullied and she was restrained physically by the principal and his staff member. So when she was restrained, basically she bumped her head on the wall a couple times, and the principal like put her hand between her head and the wall. And then when I got there, the principal still tried to maintain, like, you know, tried to be like the jurisdiction or like, you know, be like the guardian over me and my child. You know, I'm like, wow, you know, saying I can't take my child out to school, that's illegal and all this other stuff. And I'm there with her grandfather and everything. And it was to the point where she was antagonizing me to have a response or say something to her. You know what I mean? And one of her staff members started pushing me out the school like with a rub on the back. And in my mind, I'm thinking about this and I'm noticing what's going on. So I spun around real quick and said, hey, you don't get to do this to nobody. And I was talking to her like Like, what the hell is this? You can't have a conversation or nothing. Like, you don't get to be the jurisdiction. You don't get to hold the child in the corner or whatever when that child was the one being bullied and things like that, you know? So anyway, I took all of it, and that was a day after I went up to the school, and I actually helped them out. I was helping put up chairs and everything, the whole nine, right? I was helping them put up chairs. I tape recorded, I videotaped the whole assembly and everything, and it was beautiful. You know, my daughter was on the joint dancing. They had the African music and everything going. It was beautiful, and I helped out and assisted with all of that. But at the same time, the day after that, I mean the very next day after that, I come up to the school because my child is being bullied. And normally her thing is to walk away when she's being bullied or somebody's talking crap to her. She walks away. You know what I mean? But this particular day, the day after I was over there helping, she wasn't allowed to walk away. She was restrained. And you already know, if you don't expel whatever type of energy or feeling or emotion that you have in a positive way, it's going to come out. You know, you're going to lash out because you're being restrained or you're being held from really getting out your emotions. You know what I mean? And her thing is she likes to walk to pass her emotion, to pass whatever negative energy that she has. She likes to walk. No problem. But when she tried to walk off, for a staff member and the principal to restrain her to the point where she starts bumping her head on the wall, that's fucking ridiculous. So we goes down there to the school district and have a conversation with the school district and the people over there. They encouraged me to turn in a letter, right? To document everything, turn in a letter explaining the whole situation and the principal and everything. Because when I got there, I explained to them. And she said, put all of this in the letter for me and email it to me. And I did just that. And then they turn around and let the school press charges on me. How the hell is that possible? When I wasn't wrong, I did nothing wrong. You know what I mean? I did nothing wrong. So now the charges that they pressed on me, I had to go to jail. I was falsely arrested because they didn't even say they came here to arrest me for that. They said they came here to arrest me for something else. That's where the trumped up charges come in, because that something else was bullshit. It was a false order of protection that was placed on me by my grandfather, of all people. After his wife died, my grandmother passed away. And then after that point, he figured the handling was over. He didn't have to handle me no more. So he pushed me away, you know, in a fucked up way. He basically gave me the shaft, you know, getting me arrested and having all this shit done in my life, you know, because it's a community thing. They control communities. I don't know what organization he with, the Masons, the Eastern Stars, the Boule. I don't know what they do, you know, whether they're feds or whatever they want to call themselves nowadays. But anyway, so they used that situation to tie me up. She encouraged to write me a letter, to write an email. And then I guess after the principal found out that I wrote an email about her, after the school district let her know, because really they in cahoots, they in conglomerate, is all that way. Now they let this lady, the principal, press charges on me. And now I got to go to, not got to go to court, but they have me with arraignment papers saying that I could owe up to $100,000 and all this extra stuff. I don't deal with the law. I never got in trouble with the law, so I shouldn't have to deal with the law. But what they'll do is they'll put out this act, these bullshit acts, these bullshit laws, and these bullshit statutes, and they'll use them against you. And they'll use them against you. And they'll do it. I'll be right back. I got to answer this. Yeah. It was crazy because I was interrupted. And then I was about to do the podcast, and then I was interrupted again. The whole thing is, man, interruptions are not bad things. You know what I mean? People tend to think that interruptions are bad things. It's not a bad interruption. It's just to see whether you can get back on task or not, whether you can, still be in that zone of creating or doing whatever you're doing. Even if even with movement, if it's not creating with words, then you're creating with thought. If you're not creating with thought, then you're creating with movements and actions, hopefully. Because if you're not creating out of thought, out of words, or out of movement, then you're standing still. And that's my thing. I just don't want to stand still. I was offered to come up there to the hospital because my son had to have stitches because somebody tripped him at school. They was playing like kids play, and he got tripped and he got to get stitches around his ear. He's okay. He's in the car, he's in good spirits and everything. It just, he was thrown through a loop just by being put in that position. You know what I mean? Just as me and his mom is, still thrown through a loop over that type of thing. You're still gonna make it through. You're still striving. You're still gonna do what we gotta do. I don't even know what to say at this point, because it's like, if it's not one thing, it's another. And I was just touching on the subject earlier, and every time it's not one thing, it's another. But adversity builds character, right? Even though there's no need for character building, right? Because we all born whoever we are, and we all going to be who we are going to be. It's the thing about being true to thyself. How can you be true to anybody or anything? How can you be true to creating anything or yourself if you're not, if you're not true to yourself? If you're not being true to you and true to the things that you're supposed to do with your life, you're not being true to anybody else. You're living a lie. You're living a farce. You're living in a dichotomy when you're not being true to yourself. So in order for you to pull yourself out of that, you got to start being true to you and true to people around you. The truth is the light. So if you're being truthful about who you are and what you're doing and your goals in life and what you're doing to achieve those goals, then success has to come. You're living in your truth. As long as you're being true to thyself, you have to be true to everybody else. And that's where I'm at with it. I'm being true to me. Through everything I went through all that I experienced, it shows that that's all I can do. I don't know. Well, I do know. And I do have thoughts and feelings that this is going to ultimately lead me somewhere and lead my family somewhere where they're supposed to be. I'm taking everything and putting it on the line because I know where I'm supposed to be and I know what was destined to happen. It's all positive. It's all positive things. Even out of a negative situation, we get positive results because I'm steadfast, because we're steadfast, because we know the truth, and the truth is the light. The truth will always be something that's put on a pedestal. No matter how enticing a lie is, no matter how intriguing the lie is, and how, no matter how far-fetched the truth may sound. See, that's the thing we get caught up in. The truth being so far-fetched, because the truth sometimes could seem like a fucking conspiracy. Sometimes the truth could just seem like one big-ass conspiracy against you, against your family, against your nature, against what it is that you was placed on here on this earth to do. You know what I mean? It seems like you're like, what the fuck? What's going on? But when it's you that's living in that truth, it's not conspiratorial. It's fact. It's not fiction. It's something that you can't explain. Like you can have people every day doing interviews with Vlad, and you have people doing interviews with academics and all these different interview sites and things like that. You got Speak Your Mind podcast. He's going on out there and He's getting people to speak their mind and giving a positive message for the day and everything like that. And he's getting, he's blowing up. Congrats to him. Congrats to him. But when you see these people on these different platforms and they're talking and they're talking about their life and what they've been through and how they got to wherever they are in life to be doing this interview, that's their story. It might not seem real to you. It might not seem fathomable to you, but that story is real to them because that's what they was placed in. That's the situations that came out of their life. That's their testimony. It's not just rhetoric. You got to be a real fucking asshole to look at somebody and say, oh, they making all this shit up. When you never walked a mile in their shoes. You got to be an asshole you got to be a real scumbag asshole to look at somebody and say, oh, they in the spot where they deserve to be, or that's what they get because X, Y, Z, or they got this because they did that and they stupid as shit. You don't understand. We all like to say that God knows what's going to happen before it happens because it's all written before. So are you really in control of the things that you go through in life? Are you really in control of the situations that you're thrust into, the relationships that you have with so many people, the habits that you have, the addictions, the things that tie you down and keep you from reaching the heights that or the potential that that you have in you? If it's all written, then you really have no control over that. All you doing is going through the experience. And with you going through this experience, yeah, you're going to have some fucked up times. Are you going to be strong enough to make it out of those times, or are you going to give up, hurt yourself, hurt others, or what? You know what I mean? You're going to make them throw you in jail because you couldn't handle whatever your story was, whatever was written in the books for you to go through. That's why we can't just merely look at people like they're just bullshit or, things are bullshit. I mean, in my case, I compiled all this information and I put it in a podcast called God Concept. I compiled information and evidence of my truths and put it online on Facebook and Instagram and on Twitter and stuff like that. And some of it I took down because I want a more positive social media platform where I want to share my music and my books and my podcast. I don't even really want negativity on my podcast, but I can't help it if what I'm experiencing, I'm putting on here, because this is like therapy for me. So when I get on here and I'm talking about the things that I've been through and the negative things that I've experienced, I'm not talking about them in a negative way. I'm speaking on them in a more positive way, in a way where, like, look at where I'm at. I've been through all of this shit and experienced all of this shit, but I'm still persevering and I'm still striving to see more and achieve more and to do more. That's just merely what it is. That's simply what it is. I can't cut it any cleaner than that. If you go through what you go through and you take a victim mentality, then that's one that you choose to take. But if you go through the things that you go through on a daily basis in your life, or with the people that you grew up around, these relationships that you cultivated with these people that you love or don't love, it's like that's your story. You take it how you take it. If you either going to take that and let it negatively charge you, or you're going to take those experiences and those relationships and those emotions and let them have a positive charge on you. Either way, it's going to have a charge in your life, whether you tell somebody about it or not. Whether you let it affect you negatively or not, whether you take your story and give it to the world or not, is there. It's in the books. It's written already. The only thing that's not written, possibly, is the way you respond to the things that you got to go through in life. That's the only thing that's not written, the response. The way you respond to different atmospheres, different people, different relationships. Like right now, I'm locked the fuck out. I'm locked out the crib. You know, I'm grateful to be able to say that I got a crib to go to. You know what I mean? I'm grateful to say that, you know, that my children are okay. You know, my children are doing fine, you know, no matter what we go through. I'm glad to be able to say that. I'm grateful to be able to say that. I'm blessed to be able to say that they can see their father go through, you know, go from having to not having. They can see their father go through things and continue to go through things and still persevere and still do what's coming natural to him and still striving to fuel himself to get to a point in life where I can support them in a more better way than I ever could, because now I have more time on my hand. I have more time to create, and out of those creations, we can make a legacy, build a legacy that's better than the one that I was left with, or the one that they tried to leave for me. You know what I mean? Because through all of this, through all this bullshit that I'm going through, they try to ruin a legacy. That's what I'm noticing. You know, the things that I went through was legacy fucking up type of, like a legacy fucking up type of process, where you can notice that people tamper with your grandmother's life, and you can notice that people tamper with your mother's life, and you can notice that they tamper with your life too by tampering with those people's lives, and you can notice that they tamper with your own life. You know, whether that be the government, the environment, people that you're around, the situations, whatever. But you were tampered with in a lot of different ways. You were conspired against in so many different ways. And yet and still, you could persevere and build a legacy better than the one that they tried to take from you. Yeah. But anyway, like I was saying, I'm about to be over this episode. So, yeah, I'm your host, Mr. Pagan. Thank you for joining me. Go out and support the music. Go out and support the books. Listen to this podcast when you get the chance to. Not when you get the chance to. Definitely make the chance to listen to this podcast, God Concept. All right? Peace.